All right, so I'm going to take a moment to talk about some current events. So the last one I posted, it's right now it's June 11th, 2020, and it's like 3 o'clock in the morning. So I've been working late, trying to finish editing up some of these paintings, and as if you've been looking at all these blogs and stuff like that. They're pretty serious, and as of today, the current event has been the last one was the COVID-19. So I haven't really communicated with a lot of people that I actually know, but for the most part, the people that I've been talking to, everybody's been having a hard time to, it's they're letting up. I guess there's been a lot of protests as well in the news. I don't have TV, so I don't watch the news. So everything that I get is off of Facebook, and I've learned not to believe everything I read on Facebook. Worse than TV. I mean, TV's pretty bad, but Facebook is, it's just like people sharing whatever is put out. So anyway, but there is a lot of great information that I've gotten off of Facebook and the internet. So my main concern at this moment, well, not my main concern, but what I want to talk about at this moment that I just read on Facebook is about these protests. This guy George Floyd, a black man in Minnesota or Minneapolis, not Minnesota, Minneapolis. So, anyways, Middle America, he was choked out by a cop and passed away. So there's been a lot of protests after COVID-19, right? So stuff that I see on Facebook is pretty crazy, and it's been crazy. So everybody's in consensus that 2020 has been a really crazy year, and it's true. The schools closed down and the businesses closed down, and I guess they're getting ready to open up. And there's been just so much stuff happening as far as the economics and groups of people protesting. The thing that I want to put out on this current event thing, because I only made one video and I'm like, dang, like that's a lonely video right there. So what I wanted to say in this video for that blog, because I think the last thing I talked about was like Terminator, right? Like crazy stuff happening in the world of tech and military and surveillance and all this stuff, which is actually relevant to these old paintings that I started long time ago. And so I've been lucky enough to get a lot of this work done. These books, it's like this one guy came to, like, since I'm painting, I have the doors open, and this one guy passed by and he was just like, what did he say? He was like, you're saying important stuff or something, those paintings are heavy or something. And I was like, oh, dang, I forgot the thought. Basically, it's stuff that's like RoboCop, the original RoboCop, and all those '80s movies. Like a lot of these movies already talked about this stuff. Artists, we were talking about artists and our role in the world, and in the world of social stuff and economics, or not economics, it's social stuff, and and politics and stuff. So our role in the world and voicing opinions, or criticizing society through art, or just even not just criticizing, but also uh, promoting stuff in art too, um, is what an artist usually does. So, um, so the stuff on war and bombs and everything, and tech and Terminator and all this stuff, like I get the metaphors. It's kind of as far as how it involves me, but um, um, the overall idea of these movies is that they're talking about very serious stuff, especially in the 80s. They're talking about stuff that is about post-nuclear war bomb idea possibilities, the Cold War stuff. So I was a kid, I didn't know anything about all that, but I watched the movies and I thought the movies were awesome, and sci-fi, and everyone in my generation thought so too. And it's still in our brains, and it seems to still be in the government's brains, and the possibility that this stuff could happen. And I don't know if they're taking measures to not let it happen, but I don't know how I agree with their methods. And like I said, I'm just an artist. I'm not a politician. I'm not a shot caller. I'm not a billionaire man. But the thing is that I realize that I'm getting older, and I've put a lot of effort, and I get upset because I didn't want the responsibility to feel like people asking me questions about religion and politics and magic and whatever else. Like, I'm just an artist trying to do the best I can. I'm talking about my issues online because they're heavy stuff. Like, it is heavy. Like, there's actually some tricks and crazy stuff people did that I don't really see another way to deal with it. It's funny because I think about being a younger child, and I think, being psychologically profiled, this is pretty much what a younger child would normally do, is tell on people. So I realize that's kind of what I'm doing, but it's actually just clearing up situations where that I seem to be involved in that I didn't agree to be involved in. But this COVID-19, and then this riots, and then George Floyd, and then what I'm reading today, and this has all, the reason I'm talking about all this stuff is it has to do with police officers. Police officers are very important. This is my opinion. I watch people on Facebook and YouTube and stuff talk about social events, and sometimes they're pretty good. They're pretty good talkers, and so I'm not as good as some of those guys that actually do. That's what they do. But I'm one of them. Obviously, I'm on here. But I needed to say now that I seem to have a voice somehow, past being just an artist. And even if it seems that I'm not getting the response or the numbers that I can see, it seems people are paying attention, and I don't want to outstep my boundaries from the government and powers that be, because I'm in a conundrum at the moment. But this is very important for the people. Past racism, past uh, past the current events of racism and even past economics is police officers. Now, police officers is an idea. It's an idea that there's a group of people that are paid to make sure that society is safe from each other. So they're there to protect the people of a country, or a state, or a county, or a town, and they have responsibilities, and that's their job. That's what they do every day. And it's true, there's problems with the system, the jail system, and the judicial system, and the politics system, and the laws. There is problems of racism in these institutions and in the police department, but every police department is its own entity for the most part. I'm not familiar with the actual how they interact with each other, but from what I can tell, they're pretty much self-sufficient as far as running their town and cities. And so individual cops, like if there's a problem with the school, like a college or a high school, you can't blame everybody for the problem. And so the problem, there is a problem, and I agree with this police officer unions stating the problem that points to our journalistic foundations and groups and entities. There's been a problem since they've been dismantled and now fully under the control of the government. And this shit's fucking crazy, and it's pissing me off because I felt the brunt of these guys just saying whatever the fuck they want and getting away with it, and people believing them. And no matter if they're for or against me, they're fucking off the chain, whether it's the government telling them what to do or whoever the fuck's telling them what to do. CIA, FBI, fucking China, who knows who the fuck's running it. But these guys, I grew up in an age where there was actual fucking pride, and they weren't just killing journalists and shit. So I don't know what is happening at this moment, but this shit is past out of control. I've tried not to dig into it and fucking say the shit that is too dangerous. Like, I've been saying dangerous shit about different groups of underground stuff or whatever, just local stuff, just stuff that's personally has to do with me. But this shit, gotta have police. I don't know if it's just some agenda to make people love police or whatever. But the problem is that the idea that they could militarize the police, or how much they've even militarized them already, and the problem with racism in the police stations, but not just in the police stations, but in the individuals that are as a culture, as our American culture. That shit, I don't know. I get it that we're coming from a place where white America feels that they are America, and they've always been America, and they're gonna fight everyone that tries to take everything away from them. And it's just another group of people that have their feelings of power. There's a power struggle. So I don't know how it feels, because I've always been the so-called minority. I've never been an immigrant, but I've been in another group that's not white America. So I didn't get most of the privileges that white Americans get. I'm a male, so I've gotten male privileges, so I can't really speak on how women feel. So when white America says, hey, stop blaming us for being, the problems of the world, I get it. That's true. You can't blame them for all the problems in the world. You got racist everybody. There's a lot of racists in a lot of groups, a lot of criminals, a lot of violent people, a lot of stupid people in all the groups. So I get it. So the way the police system is run, they should definitely not let stupid people be police officers. That seems to be a problem. Somebody was talking about how the nursing program or one of these other programs, like, you have to go there for like years, or like 6 years or 5 years or something like that. I don't know how many years, but the police system seems to be like 1.5 years and you're an officer. Hey, I'm gonna make a video, bro. All right. So this guy's saying with it. So let me finish this video. So the issue is that that there could. I'm not familiar with the system itself, with the full system of how police officers become police officers, but I am a thinker and a learner and a storyteller and so as a storyteller we absorb information so that we can put it in our stories. And so I watch a lot of movies, I read stuff, and ask questions so that I know. And so I regurgitate a lot of stuff that I'm not super familiar with. But one of them is that when you have a country that the military runs the people, or is the protection of the people, or the enforcers. So it's a government thing, right? A straight government. Is that it takes away the community power, like the National Guard. If there's National Guard running this show, it changes the dynamic of the officers and the community. There should be, I'm not sure what the cities, but for towns, everybody should be liable for themselves. Cops, groups of cops, cities. Like, you can't blame LA for shit that's happening in San Francisco. And so for all the cops, if you count how many people are in America and the world are in a city, there's a lot of cops. So for the people that have had issues of white privilege or racism and the killing of a person of color or a black person, or there's been racism, I get it. So that's not the question. We understand that, and the protests are reasonable. I'm not sure I'm not saying looting and stuff like that. I'm not familiar with what's going on. I'm not even keeping track because, like I said, our media is being controlled, and I don't know what the fuck everybody's doing. So, but there is a truth that there is an issue, and the people are not happy. The majority of people in America are not happy with racism. Like even the white folks, and there's more people that are not happy with racism, period. And the people that are want to keep things the way they've been in the racial issues are people holding on to an old idea of that's been fading away for the last few generations, and it gets faster and faster as each generation goes. Like there's been more interracial couples, there's been more interbreeding, there's been more friendships, and there's been more jobs, there's been more groups of people mingling more. Even though at the top, at the best jobs and whatnot, there is slow progress, but the people are speaking again because, this is something that you can't do to your own kin. You're not going to go step on somebody's neck that's your own family and then kill them and then get away with it. So even if how this turns out, it's not the whole all the police departments' fault that this guy, these group of people that are police officers, and problems in that culture of enforcing and violence, using violence and enforcement, and there's issues, but the structure has to be there. The structure of police officers has to be in the community and part of the place that they are policing. Further militarizing the police departments might be a solution, but the people that are in charge of this stuff might have a good solution. There might be a real solution. If they include the people or not, how they include the people or not is up to them. I am actually a citizen of this state and country, so it's my concern as well. And as an artist and an activist in these social issues, I feel the need to speak and to say what needs to be said, because I criticized artists one time or lately about asking them political questions and all this stuff like that. But I thought about that and I was like, actually, artists have a lot of shit to say. Not a lot of. I'm not sure about actors and stuff, but maybe even actors. But there are a lot of thinkers in the art world that have some great insight and powerful voices and good minds to solve these issues that we're dealing with. Especially, if we listen to some of them, like Bob Dylan and Sinead O'Connor and Marvin Gaye, we'd fucking be way better off than we are at the moment. So, I regress from, I'm not saying all artists, but these artists that put themselves out there should be heard, and in their own time be in the room of the policymakers and taken seriously, because Socrates and Aristotle and all these dudes got reprimanded during their time by the big government, and then a generation or 5 later, people fucking realized that they were right. Galileo was right. His shit fucking, you can't even think of a fucking politician that had more influence than Galileo. So what the fuck does he have to die and you guys have to wait to listen to this guy and let him be fucking house arrested and shit, And I get it. It's a power struggle between thinkers and the shot callers, or the people in power, the politicians and the artists. That's kind of, and when I say artists, I mean the top rung of the fucking brain of the artist. The art, we're free thinkers, so we're not going to be telling you how to build structures of how to deal with these issues. So there has to be a partnership, but there are answers that if just break it down, like community needs to help out their community. Big government has a place. Small, basically, police are super important. Blaming them, shaming them, making them not happy in their job, or making their job tougher. Like, there's very few jobs tougher than being law enforcement, because you're dealing with crazy people, you're dealing with death, you're dealing with the most devastating emotions man has ever felt. So when they have problems in their, like a soldier, you know what I mean? Like, you're dealing with real shit, you know? So when you ask these warriors and these people, the difference between the military is that these guys are warriors to kill, and that's what their job is, you know, to do the unthinkable, and that's a whole different story. Police officers are to deal with their own community and people, to clean up the streets, you know, fix the streets, make sure people are all right. There could be way better answers than they got. They're not in charge of the jail system and the judicial system and the laws and the lawmakers and these people that are trying to destroy the police morale. And, you know, if you really wanted to break it up, you could do it better than breaking people and trying to turn the people against police, because we all want a better community. We want a better life. We want a safe streets. We want less drugs. If you want to deal with the drug system, which we all know, you could watch it in the movies, that shit runs from the top to the bottom. So do Amsterdam shit, make it legal, and, you know, less deaths. We all want less deaths from violence. And if there's an issue with rich and poor and who gets stuff and who doesn't get stuff, and you want a better America with less racial issues, and you want people to call themselves American without race involved in that, like it's gonna be.
Love you, bro.
Oh, nice. Check this guy.
I haven't even talked about the community. I saw your stuff for a while. I've seen you for like probably a month or so. I walked by, I love your shit. So I just had to fucking show you like that you're not alone, bro. We're out here. And like he says, man, push for, like, this is my first time meeting. I'm interrupting shit, and I'm sorry. I want to know, I really want to, I'm bugging his ass to let him know, do your shit. Brock, I want to thank you for letting me come through, man.
Oh man, that's nice stuff, dude. I want to talk to you. Can you come by tomorrow?
That's what is right. I see that paper you did right there. That's Michael Jordan Boswell.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I love you, man.
Hey, what's your name? Where are you at?
I'm Kevin Thompson, man.
Where'd I find you?
I live right here on you. So that's why I'm always seeing you, bro. I'll let you get back.
Okay.
I want to see it. Much love, bro.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
you rock, bro. I love your shit.
Hey man, I dig your stuff too. I'll stop by and say what up.
Hang out.
All right, I'll find you.
Love you, bro.
All right, bro. Love it too, man. All right, so let me finish this video. So the issue is humanity, right? We got that guy, artist, great art. I was pretty impressed with his work. So the point of this video was and is change that we're going through as a group, and that we are America. And the idea that America is a certain is only white America. You know, if you think about the history of that, white America was different groups of people as well. So as I feel my bloodlines come from this country and this land, right? That's called America, or United States of America, and Southern America, South America. I also understand and this is just me speaking, I don't speak for the whole group of people, but we are given the time that we're in. We're given the government, we're given the sciences, we're given the structures that are already built before we got into this world. So we're all running on privileges or not privileges that we didn't earn. So born as a male in America, I have a lot of privileges. I had a lot of privileges growing up. I was able to do art. So, and science. There's cars, there's computers. But in the future, there's going to be more stuff. So, I'm not even here just for myself. I want the future to be better than how it was when we got here and what was handed to us. And part of that venture and this adventure has been seeing America change in the issues. Like, I've been dealing with the racial ideas and dealing with trying to express this a better way through love. And it's been tough. There's been a lot of battles, and I feel that maybe I lost some, won some, but I'm still fighting for the same. I think the main thing was to try to derail what my goal was about fixing stuff in the racial arena. And my response has been not to let them derail me in a way that it seemed like. I mean, I got derailed enough, but I'm trying to use all the stuff for the benefit of what's next, and what's next is that America should be a better place, even with all the problems that our forefathers and everybody, all the groups of people in the thousands of years that this world has been occupied by all these different groups, to to continue what Martin Luther King did, to continue what Marvin Gaye said, to continue with John Lennon's what he said, to continue what Bob Dylan said, to continue what Sinead O'Connor said, continue what Lauryn Hill said, to continue with Miles Davis, to continue with my forefathers of these natives. A lot of these leaders of people love the people that they're fighting for, and I get it. If that's your group and you feel that's your group, you want to win and you want to fight and you want to feed your family. The old idea is that there's not enough, and maybe there isn't. But again, maybe there is, and everybody could drink clean water. Why can't that be? Why is that not possible? Why can't we clean the water so that people drink water? Why don't we put effort into that? Keep the system where there's competition and people get paid for what they do. So there's it's not communism, but damn, like this trickery and lies and crazy shit, like there's a lot of people suffering in the prison system, and that is a problem. You want free labor, like fuck, like I don't have the answer to that, but coming from that group of people that a lot of people I've descended from have been institutionalized or had time, served time for minor shit, like shit that's like drugs and alcohol and drink driving and shit, like problems that arise from poverty. And I don't want to do that. And so, but my problems have come from a different direction, and I still think it's racial. But that's beside the point. The point is that no matter what community I come from, because there's parts of it that are privileged and parts of it that are not privileged. But the police system has to be, from my knowledge, has to be protected. I mean, there's a lot of things that need to be protected, but we do got to appreciate our cops, no matter if you're black or white or whatever the color you are, whatever group you come from. Because if you have a problem with it, go become a police officer. And the culture that's within the system, that if there's race, which that is a that's a well-known fact as well. There is issues from that whole system, that there's racial issues. So that is a problem, but it's not going to be dealt with by 1984 shit. You know what I mean? Like, 1984 shit don't work. It works fundamentally, but the bottom's gonna drop out because there's no trust. There's no trust from the people to the government. And if there's trickery, that shit, too much trickery divides people. And so that's my thought. That's my contribution in the conversation of current events is setting up the police by blaming them for all the problems of the world is not something that we as citizens should tolerate from journalism. And I get it, Facebook, and we're in a new world, you know, where Facebook and social media and all this, there's a lot of crazy shit going on. But the thing is, it is a mirror to all of us. You know, people want to put me in the forefront of some of this shit. But it's like, dude, this is a mirror to all of us as human beings that we're gonna have to deal with. That shit happens, and that we're humans. We're gonna have to relook at it ourselves and socially, and you know, figure out a new way to deal with our family members and each other and our friends, and deal with groups of people, and to basically having all of us saying whatever we want on the internet has been a crazy deal, and I get it. We're still figuring out what's going to happen with all that. You know, posting all our pictures and our girlfriends and our boyfriends and chicks in bikinis and all the politics, and so I get it. You know, that shit, we're going to get, those people we haven't got old yet. I'm getting old, but all those girls haven't got old yet. Half of them have, and all the dudes and whatever, you know what I mean? Like, we're dealing with it. Broke up a lot of relationships, broke up a lot of marriages. Got your ex-boyfriend from high school on your Facebook. Like, that shit doesn't make your husband feel good. So, you know, so we're dealing with it. So meanwhile, this is my time when I got to speak and just say that. Just saying that by itself is fucking mind-blowing shit that is real, and we all know it. We just don't know what's happening yet. We don't know how to deal with it yet. So this police thing and the government stuff and the surveillance stuff is happening. Been happening from a long time ago, since it was ever made video cameras and ever made freaking microphones. But today it's just so accessible that normal people have them, and we're using them on each other. They've used them on me, and so I got issues with people. So that's my thing. But in the power that I have and my voice, I have to say, fucking save the journalists, be journalists, save these. If they have to go incognito or something, like fucking change their name and their identity and but put the story out, like that should happen. But we're gonna need the police to protect them. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what's gonna happen next with all this secret fucking war shit going on, but there needs to be some kind of integrity of the journalism where it's not controlled by one entity or one group of people. It needs to be from the people to protect. That's like art. Like, you gotta save the artist, because people, you can't fake it. You can't fake being real in your art. You can't fake the truth. You can't, like, you can see it. Once you listen to music, you're gonna know if you like it or not. And if you have an ear for it, you're gonna know if it's original or not, or from the heart or whatever. If someone sings in front of you, it's gonna be like, whoa, you know. And same thing with, like, with truth. You know, we want truth. We want not to be, even if there's a lot of group of people, and there's a lot of stupid people in the world, a lot of not stupid people, but people that shouldn't be running the show. So I get it. You know, not everybody needs to be included in the decision making. But man, there has to be also some consequences for people that are it's Bible stuff. Can't do too much lying. If you lie too much, if you deceive the people too much, if you do too much trickery, if you do too much hate on the social media and stuff from the top, you know, normal people were, like I said, you know, they'll get what's coming to them if they hate on everything. But from our government and from our institutions, we need to have some kind of trust. We need to have some kind of agreement from all of us, not just one group of America that call themselves white Americans, which is a legit group, and they have their issues with the government and the systems, and they got their issues. And if things get tough economically, you know, that is going to show people more. And it's been for the privilege, they don't get everything that maybe their fathers got and forefathers gotten, free stuff. But if you're speaking on, you know, how proud white America is, and how proud, you know, all this stuff you built, and you should not expect free shit, you know, because in the reality, that house and the loan and the business loans and the everything that your boats and all the shit that other people of color, only a few of us reach that level in the business side. And you got this whole other, your cousin or your brother, and you guys know they don't deserve it. You know they didn't earn it. You know that you guys are just hooking them up. You know, they got the job, but they're not the fucking... So you guys got problems in your own group. And, but the reality is that the shit hasn't and still can't hold water. It's not going to hold water. And there's no way you're going to kick everybody out. You guys came here and we never left. I never left. My family, my parents, everyone that... My ancestors never left. We were here. So if you guys brought everybody, and now you still want things to stay the same, that's not going to happen. It's never going to happen. Never happened in Europe. Didn't happen in Africa. Didn't happen in India. Didn't happen anywhere in the world. And if you think it's going to stay that way here, that shit's not, obviously. And it hasn't, never. Slaves never wanted to be slaves. That shit's a lie. They had to kill them and torture them. and fucking buy new ones and bring new ones and trick people, and that shit doesn't hold water, even if it did for, you know, for however 200 years. It's been holding water only since the since the industrial revolution or whatever. But like everyone in the whole world agrees that shit's, you can't, war is war, and there's a lot of deaths in war. We haven't seen that kind of war for a really long time, and nobody really wants to see it. And we get it. And groups of people, do they get along or don't they? Well, they do. They do. We do. And we should, and we could, you know, and sometimes you can't speed that up, but you can't have one group. If you have 5 people in a room and one motherfucker is eating all the food and everyone else has to ration, that shit doesn't fly for that long and shit. No matter if that guy has a gun or what the fuck, like, that shit's not gonna fly. So that's where we're at. You guys, by merit, by what the fuck we contribute to the community and to the world, and normal shit that people do amongst their own group needs to be done for our group, for the consensus of the citizens that pay taxes and contribute and have talents that could be used, and smarts, you know, like, and just things that the reason that I feel strong enough to say this shit, even if my bank account looks really bad, like, I've fucking been in classrooms with everybody in this country for my whole life, and I've always been one of the top, always been one of the smartest, strongest, fastest, most talented, you know, like, just been a good student, kid, contributor, even if I was my own, you know, labeled as lazy and, like, you know, from my friends, just because I was an artist. You know, I learned that I excelled when I got to junior college, you know, and I'm still excelling. So, you know, to be stagnated because of racism has pissed me the fuck off big time. But I understand humans, and that we are group oriented, and that what white America and white groups of people in Europe has contributed to humanity has been pretty damn great. And that's something not everybody, we think it, we know it, but we haven't, I haven't personally given credit, even though I feel it, you know, shit, making an electric guitar, thank you. Fuck, I play that electric guitar, fucking clean water, shit, I drink that clean water. Could we made clean water? Yeah. The Indian Native American way, by having clean water, I thought that was a better idea. I don't mind fucking living by the water and getting my own water and having that lifestyle different. You know, that's, to me, is a better lifestyle, because the water flows and everybody gets what they deserve. And, you know, but there's a lot of deaths and all this other shit. So I get it. What you guys have, what your ancestors contributed and to the world has been pretty damn great. Technology has been there's pretty cool shit happening. How are we going to deal with it next, now that we all are using it and we all have brains and abilities that are needed, especially like especially when you have all the tech and you don't have the understanding of humanity, when you're lost in humanity, when that shit doesn't satisfy you and you wonder why it doesn't satisfy you, why you're not satisfied still, why you're unhappy, why everyone in your family's unhappy, or, you know what I mean, like humanity, human stuff. there's knowledges that other cultures have that you guys might not have, and what other people have, your group might not have. So the exchange is actually very important. And in that same exchange that we all live and we're all inherited our roles, what we've inherited is not good enough. It's not good enough. And everything that you complain about, that you're not happy with, everything that you got problems with, is fixable. And it might not be fixable because we all know Bible stuff. We got humanity's kind of fucked up. But there's the other side of that where there's more beautiful stuff that we have and done and given, and friendships and all this stuff that's throughout the history. Maybe that's not being put out there as much. So my little message in the late night is for the new America to be better than the old America by using the best methods and protecting each other and protecting the people that protect us. And if that means protesting against journalism, shit, we should do that too. And journalism, shit, you guys ain't to blame either. I know that's a dangerous field to live in, but big money needs to, I'm sure you guys got it under control. But I just want the police to know that shit, that job, that institution has a lot of responsibility, but it needs to be protected. It's very important. I'd rather have a cop pull me over than a fucking soldier. All right, later.